Happy Friday. I wanted to talk with you about our Sunday mornings. It's very exciting that in the past month we've been able to return to in person worship as well as streaming. So, having people in the chapel. I've heard from so many of you how you thought you would be so eager to be back in the chapel, and that it's turned out to feel a little more complicated, right? So, some of you don't maybe feel ready to be in a room with other people. Uh, you've remembered how comfortable you are at home in your PJs drinking coffee. It's hard to get up and get in the car in the morning. And with all of that, everything at church on Sunday morning has changed. Those of us who have gathered have been incredibly joyful to be together. And it's not like it used to be. So that sort of yearning we've all had for the for the old days and the old ways is still there. So just like with everything in the pandemic, everything has changed. So we have two guiding principles really for how we're structured Sunday mornings at Chalice, and particularly what I mean by that is the worship in the chapel. So one of our highest priorities is addressing air ventilation in a small space. One of the most important things we can do to help keep each other reasonably safe is having good circulation, keeps things like viruses from hanging in the air around us. So we have our air on all of the time. We have four HEPA air purifiers in the room. We have our air conditioning unit, which also has MERV HEPA filters on them. MERV filters, HEPA filters, if those are the same thing. And then we've also been opening the back door. So the way we monitor this is with the carbon dioxide monitor, which doesn't really tell us anything about coronavirus, but it does just tell us something about how air is moving in the room. So having the back door open means, there's some noise. If it's cold outside, you might be cold inside. If it's warm, when we reach warm, we might feel a little warm inside. But one of our highest priorities is keeping the air moving. And so if you're uncomfortable with the back door open, you might want to sit more forward to be away from the back door. And then our other guiding principle is that we want to sing together. So these are the same issues above, how we have good air circulation. We are spaced in our seating, which is why we're asking you to make reservations in advance. If you'll remember, and I know you will, very painfully, that in the early days of the pandemic, we learned that singing in groups, like at churches, is one of the easiest ways to create a super spreader event. That when we sing, we release more aerosols than when we're just speaking. And so figuring out how to keep singing safe as we come back together is both a high priority for us as a community and something that we don't have a lot of information on. So you will hear that there are, places and concert halls and things where singing is happening. And with all due respect, that is happening because there's no public health order prohibiting it. We as a community have a higher standard for wanting to do the best we can to keep each other as safe as we can, as reasonably safe, right? It will always be true that the safest thing to do is to stay at home. But if you want to come out and be together and sing together, we want to make that as safe as possible while we do that. So that may seem like a no-brainer, the singing together, but many of our congregations who have been gathering in person on Sunday morning are not singing together during that time. I was just on a 2-week vacation, you may have noticed, and one of the things we did was go to Albuquerque to be with my husband's family. And on Sunday morning, he and I went to the UU congregation in Albuquerque. They have a nice big sanctuary, so we did not need to reserve a spot in advance. They were able to just take people walking up because they had room. But there was no hymns during the service. There was music played up front and some singers up front, but we did not sing together during that hour. So at Chalice, we want to be able to sing together. So again, figuring out that air ventilation and having ourselves distanced in the chapel, which is why we're asking people to sign up in advance. Because if we switch to a first come, first serve model of Sunday morning, I think that will just be chaotic. So I know it's hard to to sign up in advance, and everybody wants to decide on Sunday morning if they're coming to church, not on Saturday. But that's sort of, that's our reality right now. And of course, we'll be continuing to develop and learn together about what works for us. So the sign up for Sunday will be in the weekly e-news. You'll see in this week, it's up at the top with the service information. And, it hasn't been full every Sunday. So, go ahead and take a look Saturday night when you're figuring out if you want to come or not. You might see space in there. And so let me describe quickly. I mean, this is what's a little bit complicated. So we have room for, it's hard to do a count. We've called them pods. So your pod might be one, just you, or your pod might be your partner or friend, and children. You might be 4, 5, or 6 who's a pod. So if we have multiple one-person pods, we can fit 2 single people in the same row. So you need 3 chairs in between each pod. So you can see, you'd have a person against the wall, 3 chairs, and another person, or even a couple, depending on if it's a 5 or 6 chair row. I know even as I'm talking, it's complicated, so just hugs. I know we don't want church to be this complicated. But so that's why you'll see in the sign up that at the bottom there's like a waiting list, because if 10 individuals sign up, we have room for 10 more. If 10 groups of 5 sign up, we're full, we're maxed out. So so that's how the signups work, and that's gonna become more comfortable and less confusing and less overwhelming as time goes on. It's just another time of the pandemic where we're having to learn like a new skill set, a new way of being. So in addition to our Sunday morning service, I want to let you know explicitly it's okay to just come for coffee hour if you've missed Sunday morning, it was full, or you sort of just couldn't get it together, but you want to come and visit with people. Again, in that morning time, we're requiring full vaccination, and please sign in even if you arrive later, because if we were to find out someone had been ill, we want to notify everyone who was there. And this Sunday also is our Spirit Booster gathering in the afternoon from 2 to 4. You can show up anytime. You don't need to be fully vaccinated for that event. There'll be food. We're having a new member ceremony at 3:15 in the chapel. I hope you saw the note that will also stream. So if you're someone staying at home in the afternoon but would like to see that new member ceremony, you can log on with the same link we use for Sunday morning worship. So even though it's not as simple as it used to be, it is so wonderful to be together on Sunday morning. I'm so grateful, and I hope to see many of you on Sunday, either Sunday at worship or in the afternoon for the Spirit Booster, or maybe even for both. So blessings and love to each of you. Take care.